Hi! If you have been following this vlog, you know that we are currently working on a renovation project in Panabo, more precisely in Salvación. I showed you a bit of that last time. What I didn't tell you is that before we could even start renovating, we discovered something rather shocking. Legally, nobody actually owned the land the three houses and the eatery were built on. Fixing that problem took months and cost almost 200,000 pesos. I met my wife Rosalia about 13 years ago in Dubai. We met a few times there within a couple of days. No romance or hanky-panky, but I really liked her, and after I returned to Denmark I managed to find her on Facebook. That wasn't easy. You know how Filipinos don't use their actual names on Facebook, so it took a while. Then began the process to figure out whether she was really the one for me and trying to convince her that I might be the one for her. And she was, and I did. Eventually, I flew back to Dubai, and from there we traveled together to her home in the Philippines in Panabo. That also meant persuading her to leave her job in Dubai, which she was understandably hesitant to do, considering we had only met a few times. But she finally agreed, and we went to Panabo to spend some time together and get to know each other better. And yes, we definitely hit it off. After a couple of weeks, I had to return to Denmark, leaving Rosalia behind in Panabo without an income. So we decided to start a small eatery at the house. The setup was very simple. Basically a firewall, a small kitchen, a roof, a gas stove, and some tables and chairs. Altogether, the investment was around 180,000 pesos. Rosalia started the business with just 2,000 pesos to buy groceries and cook food to sell, and it actually worked very well. Part of the reason is simple. Rosalia is a very good cook. Whatever she prepared quickly became popular. Another reason was the location. At that time the area was not very developed, but there was a funeral home nearby. Filipino funerals often last several days, with many visitors coming and going, and people need somewhere to eat. There were not many other options nearby. Meanwhile, I was working on getting Rosalia to Denmark. We applied for a Schengen visa. I don't remember exactly how long the process took, but it certainly was not quick. Eventually the visa was approved and Rosalia came to Denmark. So at that point we closed the eatery and instead used the space for gaming computers. We had been offered 12 second-hand arcade gaming computers for about 45,000 pesos. Not all of them worked, but 8 were running in the beginning, and that was enough to start. The income from the gaming computers helped pay for electricity and internet around the house, which everyone in the family benefited from. Rosalia's family helped look after the machines and call a technician when something broke. When we visited 2 years ago, only 3 computers were still working. We upgraded 2 of the broken computers and also modified the cabinets, which originally had almost no ventilation in this heat. That is obviously not ideal for electronics. After that, we managed to keep 5 computers running, later 4. The turnover was typically around 13,000 pesos per month. Not enough to make anyone rich, but still useful. Then in August 25, we moved here to the Philippines, and it was time to reconsider what to do with the place. The plan was to keep the gaming computers and bring back the eatery, but in a better and more modern version, expanding the building with a second floor. But then we ran into the first major problem. Legally, nobody actually owned the land. Back in 2005, the authorities had informed the family several times that they should formally claim the land and obtain the title. The family had lived there for decades and built houses there, so the process would mostly have been a formality. The toilet here, Rosalia had done before I came to the Philippines the first time, 13, 14 years ago. She knew I would not be happy to not have a toilet. So this is it. But now we're making it a little nicer, and there's actually water, running water here now. Let's see if that works. Yep. And we'll put a light here also. This is pitch dark in the night. The computers go here. Just enough space for 5 of them. And separated from the eatery, because we don't want all the kids running around in the eatery. This kind of plumbing really bugs me a bit. I mean, it is so sloppy. Why can't they do it right? But okay, it works. Be patient. Don't fight every battle there is. The process would mostly have been a formality. The cost would have been around 25,000 pesos. But it was never done. Which meant that technically anyone could have gone to the barangay, claimed the land, paid the fees, and taken ownership of the land and everything built on it. So Rosalia had to sort that out first. She had to claim the land, pay the necessary fees, settle taxes going back to 2005, and obtain the title. Because it's a large family, the process was complicated and required agreement from everyone. In the end, the family gave Rosalia power of attorney to handle the process and take title to the land. Altogether, that ended up costing close to 200,000 pesos. Once that was sorted out, we thought we could finally apply for a building permit and start expanding. But then the next problem appeared. There are setback rules in that area requiring buildings to be 8 meters from marking stone. If those rules were applied strictly, many of the houses in the area, including these, would technically not be allowed to be there. The engineer and the barangay advised us not to risk applying for an expansion permit, because that could create more problems than it solved. So instead of expanding the buildings, we decided to do a renovation. The plan now is to keep 5 gaming computers, move them away from the eatery area, and renovate and modernize the eatery itself. We will also extend this space a little bit, but using a lightweight structure rather than heavy permanent concrete. Now, when it comes to renovation projects in the Philippines, budgeting can be challenging. Rosalia's sister Maricel recently renovated and extended her house and sari-sari store in Santa Cruz. Her original agreement with the contractor was 200,000 pesos for the entire job. But the contractor never finished the work. So she had to find another contractor to complete it, and that cost her another 200,000 pesos. So the final price for that renovation ended up at around 400,000 pesos. Because of stories like that, Rosalia decided to structure her project differently.
This is going to be a terrace.
For this renovation in Panabo, we buy all the materials ourselves: cement, steel, lumber, roofing, everything. The contractor provides the labor. His payment is 40% of the incurred material costs as the project progresses. The plumber and the electrician are paid separately. That way we always know where the money goes, and we avoid the situation where a contractor receives a large payment and then disappears before the job is finished, or just slows down and focuses on other projects.
Last day, you're not coming back? No more? Oh, we'll miss you.
Rosalia's total budget for the renovation is 300,000 pesos, everything included. That means materials, labor, plumbing, electrical work, finishing, appliances, tables and chairs. Whether we manage to stay within that budget, we will find out. To be clear, this whole project is Rosalia's project. She makes all the final decisions, and she pays every single peso from her savings from working in Denmark and her income selling gold, jewelry and bags from Japan. My only part in this is to encourage and support her and offer technical advice here and there. Speaking of money, my monthly income here is not as I expected it to be when I left Denmark. Some income streams have not come through. So money is a little bit tight. Not dramatically, but enough for me to have been looking into other ways of making money here. And I think I might, just might, have found a way in trading gold. It's not without significant risk, but so far it has panned out quite well. More than doubling my deposit within 5 weeks, had I not taken daily profits. And it is fully scalable. If the strategy continues to be profitable over the next couple of months, maybe I'll fill you in a future vlog. That's it for today. Thank you for watching.